she's just like a Wonder Woman fan.
Oh, gotcha. I'm more annoyed by the question.
I mean, but okay, it was a two-part question. Asked who would win in a tennis match, or would they overcome their differences to become like the best doubles partnership ever?
All right, welcome to the comic panel bonus DC Fandome episode. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
So today we're going to be talking about the announcements that came from DC's their convention. It was an online convention they had called Fandom. This is the first year that they did it. So there was, a bunch of trailers dropped for, basically for movies, for video games, and some comics announcements too, which should be exciting to talk about. So I have an IGN article up right now that's like kind of the recap of like the biggest and best announcements and reveals.
I also have my notes from what I watched live at the time, and then like the cleanup afterwards of stuff I didn't catch. But
do you want to start with that, news correspondent Jake?
Yeah, because this was fun on the first week that I had this job. That this got dropped up in my lap, so that was cool. So it launched. It started with Wonder Woman 1984 panel. It had Patty Jenkins, the director, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, Peter Pascal, Gal Gadot. All were like the main parts of the panel.
And then, who is Pedro Pascal?
Peter Pascal is playing Maxwell Lord in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Kristen Wiig is Cheetah. Chris Pine reprises his role as Steve Trevor, and then Gal Gadot obviously is Wonder Woman. So they did like kind of a talk back and forth, answered some audience questions. They did confirm that they were going to wait for a theatrical release. They weren't going to release it digitally. They also got Venus Williams was like a celebrity guest appearance.
Like the tennis player?
The tennis player, yeah. She asked a very on-brand tennis question about who would win in a tennis match between Cheetah and Wonder Woman. And then they
why
it was weird.
Why on a panel with a bunch of celebrities do you need a celebrity guest?
I don't know.
No, the celebrity guest should be a nobody.
Because like they have like just like random like DC fans like ask questions like on video, but then they also had Venus Williams.
Mm-hmm. Who would win in a tennis?
I mean, maybe Venus is just like a really big Wonder Woman fan, and she bought a ticket like everybody else, and
that's what I'm thinking. Because like they didn't have her in like later panels that I didn't catch, so I think she's just like a Wonder Woman fan.
Oh, gotcha. I'm more annoyed by the question.
I mean, but okay, it was a two-part question. Asked who would win in a tennis match, or would they overcome their differences to become like the best doubles partnership ever?
That's still bad.
I don't know. I don't know who they would qualify to fight to be in a match against, but yeah, it was a pretty fun panel because they had Venus Williams, and then they also got Linda Carter, who was the original on-screen person.
Technically,
Wonder Woman, and so like they got to talk about like the kind of historic and cultural like effect of Wonder Woman, and then like at the end of the panel, they released the new trailer, which was also the first reveal of this Cheetah.
I didn't see it.
At least in the full like Cheetah upped form. which, gotta say, looks better than Cats did. So that's cool.
Cats? Oh, Cats. Right.
The
So
movie.
you say better, and what you mean is that she's still covered head to toe in CGI fur, but better, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wait, actually, yes?
Yeah, mostly CGI, it would appear, but it doesn't look as bad.
Okay, well that's cool. I was kind of meaning that in with sarcasm, I guess, but
Wait,
a flippant question.
That is frightening.
Yeah, it's still not super great, but it's better than Cats.
That's that. I like that. That sheet is frightening.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long it ran for. That was the first panel, and then the next panel.
Although, before we move on, question: is Cheetah in the comics supposed to look more actual or scary?
It depends on the artist, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the writer, but I mean, I think it's pretty accurate because all the panels I've seen of her, she just looks like head to toe hair.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if it's like an Enchantress situation.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think about Cheetah as a character.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that the more important, I guess, would it be kind of talking about is she supposed to be a more monstrous or a more humanoid kind of villain?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're trying to get at? Because in that case, she is more humanoid. She has rational thought. She just has kind of cheetah powers and also cheetah fur.
No, I meant more. Is it like a femme fatale kind of deal, or just a villain?
What, she's trying to seduce Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I mean that could.
Maybe. I guess we'll just have to watch the movie and find out. But yeah, I think. I mean, I'm not being familiar with her character.
In the movie, she looks more scary than anything else. From what I can see, anyway.
Yeah, I think it's not a hallmark of her character to be seductive, but I wouldn't put it past any male writer from the 1950s onward to put her in that situation.
Comics.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Interesting question, I guess you've asked.
Yep.
Some panel. So the next panel was it was from Warner Brother Games Montreal, hosted by introduced by Zachary Levi, who is Shazam. So they released the trailer for Gotham Knights.
Or Chuck.
What's that? Or Chuck. But, I was leading with their DC role, but
yeah.
Released the trailer and then gameplay for Gotham Knights, which is a 2-person co-op or 1-person or 2-person online co-op stealth action. I kind of got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like the new RPG style Assassin's Creed games from the combat. And so you'll play as Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, or Robin, all with unique, at least combat gameplay styles. It didn't seem like they'd have unique traversal elements. But,
okay, here's a question that you can't answer, Jake. Why didn't they have, 4-player online when they introduced 4 characters?
Good question. Nope, only 2. I don't know why.
Yeah, cause like especially like Talon the other day asked us which character we'd like to play as if we got the opportunity, and I was like,
Mhm.
wow, you know, Shawenta didn't respond, which is fine, but like if
Wow,
we
call out
all
Chirinta.
agreed, we could all have our first choice of character.
Yeah.
2 only. You get to play
So
alone or with
it's
2
just
people.
like what a wasted opportunity.
Hmm.
I don't know. But story-wise, the trailer opens with Bruce Wayne is dead, sends out the code black message to the 4 playable characters, brings them together to, still defend Gotham. And then like the back minute of the trailer seems to be introducing who is probably the main villain of the game, the Court of Owls and their talons, which would indicate to me, even though that they love the trailer with it, that Bruce Wayne is not actually dead.
Hmm.
But
What
that
makes
could
you
just
say
be me.
that, Jake?
Well, like the whole Court of Owls thing is about like conspiracy and tricking people into thinking things that aren't true. And so it would make sense that Batman has to go like super underground to fight them, which would mean dying.
What about an even better twist? He is
The
Talon.
whole secret, maybe, yeah, it could be that they almost killed him and brainwashed him into being a Talon. And then, but it still revealed that, oh, Bruce Wayne didn't actually die.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, okay. And all of these theories could potentially be true because this is not happening from the events of the end of Arkham Knight as we to the Rocksteady
Yes.
games.
This game is not a continuation of the Arkham universe. Despite coming from the studio that brought you Arkham Origins.
But Arkham
So,
Origins isn't even part of that either.
it is canon, though. It is.
Oh, okay.
Arkham Knight has specific lines to draw to. Okay, this is canon.
But it's not part of the trilogy.
But this game is not part of the universe.
Gotcha.
Which is weird because Arkham Knight ends with Bruce Wayne faking his death and at least having Batman die. And then this game also starts up with that premise. So that's odd, to say the least.
I mean, without looking into it, that's what I thought. It was like, oh, there's obviously a continuation of Arkham Knight. But it's not.
It's not. It's kind of weird. Releasing in, or at least scheduled to release currently in 2021 on both current edition consoles and next generation consoles. So that's kind of nice if you want to have a title to keep you over in this generation before you have money to invest in the next.
I'm just going to move over. But by the time it comes out, I would have just moved over to PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah, I mean, not everybody has ready disposable income to jump in as soon as it launches, and some people don't want to. There are still bugs to work out because the problems that developers
Jake,
have. Yes.
Does that include the Nintendo Switch?
I don't know. That's I didn't note that. I know it'll definitely be Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but maybe.
Okay, because I mean there are games on the Switch that you wouldn't necessarily expect like 100%, but like also I have a feeling it's not going to be on the Switch, and that makes me sad.
I don't know. It's
Like
weird
it,
'cause,
like the
Nintendo
Incredible
has
Hulk. You go.
the Incredible Hulk video game
Yeah,
on Switch. Is that
not
true?
on Switch. No, it was on Nintendo DS.
Of course it was.
Okay, two things about Nintendo consoles and the video games on them. One, Nintendo has this weird tradition of releasing them like half their next generation console, like halfway into the life cycle of the other main parties' launches. So, like the PlayStation and Xbox consoles launch at pretty much the same time, but then the Nintendo version launches like a year later or something.
Oh.
And then the other thing is like developers that put their games on the like previously on Wii or Wii U were like completely different games than what came out on the 360 or
Yep.
the PlayStation. So maybe that'll happen. It will probably limit whatever like cross-platform play is starting to become a little bit of in vogue in the games developing right now. But if you have to develop a whole different version for your Nintendo console, that will limit the availability of that.
Yeah, I hope that because, like with the Wii and the Wii U, that was like specifically like some really different mechanical properties to the system, whereas like the Switch, it has the screen in the center if you want it, but for the most part like the controller setup is and can be converted to, a pretty standard controller setup.
The Switch, while it's docked, is slightly underpowered, but is still like a pretty reasonable console. It's just when it's undocked, you can't just have your game not run half the time of the console. So, like the Switch, while it's undocked, it's just basically like a tablet is underpowered compared to. Like,
Although just
PS4 and Xbox.
yesterday, Nintendo announced that they are releasing a more powerful version of the Switch in 2021.
Good. 3 years after people were complaining about it. That's good.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'll use that one.
You know what? I'm glad they're listening. I just wish it were a little more, like when everybody else was doing things. But
yeah, I guess so.
Obviously, they're doing something right because they're still like really successful and are still like I'm kind of like past calling them a competitor at this point. Like Sony and Microsoft are competitors to each other, but to the point where like people might consider buying exclusively the Sony or Microsoft console, but like people don't really consider that when Nintendo launched the console.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, okay, this is really getting off track, so I'll keep it short. But I mean, I definitely am considering that because I almost was all like, ooh, I kind of want like, a PS4 because I want to play like, the Spider-Man game. But then I was like, but if I get a PS4, I cannot get a Switch. And then it was like, it is still a matter of like budgetary, but I do see that when you look at it from like, a more like, I don't know, like the pros and cons of one or the other, it seems like there's less of a comparison.
Yeah, like if you only have the money for one console, like if you buy the PlayStation or the Xbox, that's going to be your only console. But if you buy the Switch, there's the potential that you could have enough money to get another one. Is like kind of how I think about it.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
So back to DC news. So after the Warner Brother Montreal, there was a Sandman panel, which had Yvette Nicole Brown, Neil Gaiman. It also had G. Willow Wilson, who is a new author for a comic in this what they're calling the Sandman universe.
Why is Yvette Nicole Brown on the Sandman?
I don't know. Maybe she likes Sandman.
Gotcha. Another mystery.
Yeah. They also had Dirk Maggs, who was the director of the Sandman audiobook adaptation, which I was not aware of as a thing that was happening.
Oh yeah, I saw it on Audible.
Yeah, it's weird. Apparently, like they intercut kind of like pieces of like documentary footage they had like, behind the scenes stuff, and it's just got like a bunch of actors behind it. Like I'm talking like what was names I saw? They had I think they had like Michael Ironsides and like a bunch of like celebrity like voice actors as different roles in this. I think they had like I forget his name, but the actor who played Palpatine in Star Wars, I think they had him. Like just tons of names. And also they talked about the Netflix adaptation, which I forgot was happening. Apparently, like sometime last year, they announced that there was a Sandman Netflix adaptation coming out. And so, like, when pressed for, like, hey, what does this panel have to reveal about the Netflix show? Neil Gaiman kind of had to be like, well, we're still pretty early in pre-pro. Like, we're finalizing scripts. I'm getting, like, emails that have, like, set mock-ups and such like that. But he was able to reveal that, like, in the audio drama, in the comics, the story starts technically in 1916 and then like really picks up around the 80s. But for the Netflix adaptation, it's going to be occurring in the present day.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Is that like a adult Powerpuff situation?
No, I don't think. Because like the way he described it is like the like I guess the events of the 1980 don't happen. It just like occurs later.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's just going to be more time in between, but
gotcha.
Yeah, I'll admit that when I first started reading Sandman the first time, it was hard to get into it because, you know, like everything, you know, and this is really like more of a testament to, you know, the craftsmanship of the comic. But like, you know, everything about it said like this is old timey, you know, it was like the art looked like, you know, like not antiquated for comic book art, but it looked like, you know, everything was just like I think it was more like stylized like, you know, Victorian like picture books, you know? And then like the wording was like, you know, gothic lettering and stuff like that. It was just like oof. And then like everybody was talking in, you know, a certain way because it was a long time ago. And so like, you know, early high schooler me was all like, I don't know what's going on. This is weird. What is this?
Oh, yeah.
and then so I put it down for a little while and then I picked it back up and finally got past that point. So like I kind of get it, but also at the same time I feel like if anything would be able to capture an audience's attention within that time period still, it would be film, you know? Like I don't know, maybe I'm not a usual film TV audience anymore, but I would think that that would be the easier thing to keep people's attention, even though it was like old timey.
it's an interesting choice because like even the people on the panel talk about, you know, they ask like, oh, what do you like remember most? What do you identify with from reading Sandman? And so, like, a lot of the answers were, it's the style, the look, the time period that it's set in, because it's so clearly, like, of a certain age, it resonates with them a lot. So I'm going to say it's a bold choice to take it out of that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. The more that I think about it, the more of a bold choice it is, because it's like, they have to go through so much more work to adapt it, because it's like there's so many things I can think of that all like, well, that's it can exist, but it's going to be different. It's
I
just
mean,
like, yeah.
like, at the same time, I don't think that Netflix could have, like, bullied, in a sense, not really the correct usage, but like forced Neil Gaiman to make something that he didn't want to. Like, at the end of the day, Neil Gaiman could have said, like, this is too different. This isn't Sandman. I'm not going to be attached to this anymore. Because that's what we saw with the creators of Avatar with their live action adaptation. It's like, we don't want to make it the way you want to make it, so we're not going to be involved anymore. And they walked away. And those are, like, at the end of the day, not Neil Gaiman.
Avatar,
And
like
also,
the military
The Last
Avatar?
Airbender.
Last Airbender, okay.
Sorry,
Gotcha.
that was, I forget their names, but they walked away pretty recently from their live action adaptation.
okay, yeah, that's a good point.
I think we skipped over Shazam.
Like, I'm just going over the, like, I mean, like, this is the part that I watched live, so, like, this was, like, Shazam was not in between those two, at least the
was it?
that I caught.
Oh, I thought we mentioned Zachary Levi.
Yes, Zachary Levi was there, but he was the cool gamer for.
Okay.
His
So
presentation.
he was in the Sandman panel?
No, Zachary Levi was not in the Sandman panel.
Okay. Where was he?
He was in the Warner Brother Games Montreal for Gotham.
Oh, gotcha.
He was their cool celebrity gamer.
Gotcha. Man, and they didn't have Henry Cavill?
They didn't have Henry Cavill. No, but, like, honestly, like, I hate corporate, like, hey, celebrities are gamers too. I hate it. Like, honestly, like.
Gotcha. Okay. I feel like Henry Cavill, though, is like, I don't feel like he's corporate. I feel like he is himself a gamer.
Like, yeah, I guess he's not, but, like, he's also not trying to sell me anything. Or, like, when a corporation wants to sell me something, I want Sir Patrick Stewart out there reading something he doesn't understand to a bunch of people who don't care about him. That's what I want.
Oh, okay.
Am I supposed to understand that?
Do or do not. I don't care.
We got our own Sir Patrick Stewart.
So you live a happier life if you don't know what we're talking about.
Okay.
I don't like cool corporate Twitter, cool corporate gamers. Don't like it. Don't want it. I want old celebrities who don't understand what they're talking about to try to sell me things.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense. I got you. Okay. All right.
I don't know. Anyway, though, so Sandman panel. So I'm just trying to recap. Basically, they're going to the Netflix adaptation is going to be in modern day. You said some stuff about the comic books that are coming out for that.
Yes, there was one that was coming out. I didn't write down the date, but it was pretty soon after Fandom. It was called The Dreaming Waking Hours, written by G. Willow Wilson.
G. Willow Wilson.
Do you know her? Or is
That name
just
sounds
something-
familiar. I'm not sure where I've heard her before, but that name
Yeah,
sounds
why-
very familiar.
Yeah,
Miss
she's
Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just want to go on the record that I said that first.
Okay, Cody, it's all right.
Yes. I'll let you have that one.
But yeah, creating, I guess, what is the first in a line of comics that are in something called the Sandman universe,
Mm.
which I
Right.
don't.
Which
Is a sub-universe within the DC universe.
Okay, I'm not saying that you are wrong, but oh,
Hmm?
hold on, I got frozen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think it's
You're good
better
now.
now. But I was just gonna say I don't know because I haven't looked into it, but I was under the impression that the Sandman universe, like kind of series of comics, had started last year, but maybe they were just announced last year and they're like finally starting to happen.
I think I read
But-
something about there being stuff in the Sandman universe under the Black Label storyline, which is which at this point I don't know honestly. Like at this point, like I'm not confident in what I'm saying, so it could be, or it could not be, or it might be, or it could have been, and then wasn't. But I don't know.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
yeah,
so,
okay. I just found out it's
okay.
I didn't get that.
yeah.
It was something that I was unaware of starting in 2018.
Wait, what was?
But
The Sandman universe.
the Sandman universe.
Gotcha.
And like, yeah, I think that what it's trying to indicate is not that it's a separate universe altogether, but that it's like, you know, basically the line of comic books that they publish, you know, month to month are connected, and they're like technically connected to the rest of the DC universe, but like, you know, only as much as the original Sandman comic book was, where it's like, oh yeah, that's happening here, but you know, it's not, they're not going to have like, you know, the Justice League show up. It's just whatever's in the Sandman universe.
Right.
Yep.
So that was the end of the Sandman panel. Was, you know, announcement that the Netflix show was going to be more modern. You know, we got new comics coming out, and I think it was also to like build press for the audiobook adaptation of because they did talk a lot about like adapting works to different mediums, which was kind of interesting, but also like kind of boring because I just wanted announcements on Sandman things. Which also, like being boring and not really announcing anything, kind of sets the stage for the next panel, which was the Multiverse 101 panel, which, like, I honestly didn't write a whole lot about because it didn't really announce anything other than Joker is unrelated to any other movie. Batman, that is the Robert Pattinson Batman, is not related to the Ben Affleck Batman in Justice League or BVS. Aquaman and Suicide Squad and The Flash will be in the universe of BVS and Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they said Joker is in its own separate universe?
Completely unrelated to anything else.
Yes. Oh. I'm not saying I disagree with that choice. I'm just saying.
I mean, you can disagree, but like that won't make it true. They come out and said unrelated.
Personally, I feel like that's not. I feel kind of happy about that because I didn't like that movie. But yeah,
I mean, they're not coming out and disavowing the movie. They're just saying it's not related.
true. But okay, so to me, when they say, "Oh, it's not related," it means it's trash. We're forgetting about it.
Billy,
No. Okay.
So unique.
My
Anyway,
my thought is, why make a movie and then have it just completely separate from this other universe you've just started?
I mean, I would say it would allow more creative freedom because there's no way Disney can make a Joker style movie
Hmm.
because it doesn't
Right.
have connections to the rest of the universe. And if you force your creators, like, okay, you're like limiting the amount they can do with the characters, or like the effect that their movies will have on the characters, then like that kind of stifles the creativity you can get. Because like, yeah,
But
Taika Waititi can,
why make a character that's at all similar to the comics? I mean, comics make no sense. So, you know,
I mean, that's
I
kind
mean,
of the point of the Disney
obviously,
films
let
that we have
the
this.
artists have free reign with a comic book character that has already been established. Yeah, yeah, sure, go ahead. Just totally do whatever you want with that character.
I mean,
Have
you
it be
cannot
a
replicate
character that
it.
makes no sense compared to what he's already been established as.
I mean, that's all right, Taylor. We're not gonna talk about this too much because it's a brick wall at this point. But we're moving past it.
All right.
I wanted to know what Shawenta had to say, though. I couldn't hear her.
Saying it's so unique they can't really recreate it again.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's usually why you go, okay, this is cool, but we're gonna put it over here and we're gonna do what we always do.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, like, I just want to point out, like, what a weird timeline we're in, where, like, DC had to, like, have, like, a sectioned off time to be all, like, okay, we, like, have all of these different movies, and people are confused about what's related to what, so we're gonna, like, just clarify all of that for everybody. It's like, how did you get yourself into this situation?
Hey, that's just like Crisis on Infinite Earths, right? Why they had that event? They had to clear up their
Yeah,
universe.
kind of. Actually,
Okay, I feel like I missed something. It went like super slow, and then it was
Oh,
like
okay.
Jake was like, "Huh."
I was making a comparison to why they had the Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline, in that they had a bunch of universes that they need to clean up.
Right. Yeah. Except for the universes aren't clean now. It's just they just
Yeah.
clarified. That's like if in the 1980s DC went to like Comic-Con in San Diego and had a panel and they were all like, okay, here's like you know basically they since nobody had the internet they just explained like a bunch of like Wikipedia articles like, this Superman's from this universe and this Superman's from this universe.
Gotcha.
And
yeah, so
now
that
you
was
have to buy all the comic books.
yes, yeah. Gotta read all of them.
Yeah.
That
Anyway,
was Multiverse
so
101 panel was, yeah, here's what's related to what, here's what's not related to anything. Here are where future movies also fall, which is for the most part, like other than Robert Pattinson Batman, like they all kind of fall within like main universe Justice League, BPS, Man of Steel.
Okay.
The next panel that came up in between, like they had like different intersections. Like some was like exhibiting fan art. Others were like one-off questions. Like they asked the new actor for Batwoman, like how it would kind of affect. They had to ask like different shows, different questions. But the next main panel was the Suicide Squad, which is directed by James Gunn, and had
So
him answer some. Oh, go ahead.
So it's called The Suicide Squad? Not Suicide
The
Squad 2?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like I've always kind of referred to it as James Gunn Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's like a more official way to do it, but
Okay.
yeah. So he also answered a couple of questions back and forth with people, different fans. Was like didn't really reveal a lot, but they had for their like celebrity. They got the Jake from State Farm guy.
Right. Yep. Which I mean,
Which was-
again, we don't even know his name.
It was weird. I hope that guy's getting money. But yeah, I can't even remember what question he asked because I was like so. I'm gonna say flabbergasted by the appearance of somebody who
Jake from State Farm.
Insurance. Yeah, it was just. It was kind of wild, but we got a weird like featurette trailer that gave us the like official. Here's who these actors are playing, which is I've got here. Savant is being played by Michael Rooker, who I last saw in season 1 of season 5 of The Walking Dead, and also in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was also, I think, in Chuck. I'm pretty sure that was his.
Was he in Chuck?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not certain. Maybe it's just someone who looks like him.
I don't know. Michael Rooker's pretty distinct as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I did not remember that he was in The Walking Dead, and I'm surprised that I
He
didn't
was
remember that.
the one hand.
Oh, I mean, I know. After you said that, I just was like, oh, I didn't, you know. Also, little side note for you, Talon. Which show is your favorite? Is it, Smallville or is it Chuck?
Smallville.
Okay. Is Chuck second?
No, just that I was watching it recently.
Okay.
Okay.
Although I guess you could say,
then, yeah,
you could say second favorite because I do have the complete series now.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. So
that.
other than moving on while Taylor just figured out if Michael Wilson was in Chuck, we got Flula Borg as Javelin.
Wait, who?
David Flula Borg.
Flula Borg. Gotcha.
David Dasmalkian, who was in Dark Knight as one of the guys to Batman beat up. He's playing Polka Dot Man. Daniela Melchior is playing Ratcatcher 2. Idris Elba is playing Bloodsport. Mei Ling Ing is playing Mongal. Peter Capaldi is playing The Thinker. Sol Soria is played by Alice Braga. Pete Davidson is playing Blackguard. TDK is being played by Nathan Fillion. Weasel is being played by Sean Gunn. The Peacemaker is being played by John Cena. Somebody is portraying King Shark because for some reason we didn't get an actor name with King Shark.
Oh.
King Shark is just King Shark.
Yep.
That's Steve Agee.
Steve Agee.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of characters.
Oh, Brightburn.
Including like a lot of big names. And obviously there are. Well, those are the new characters. Like Joel Kinnaman is reprising his role as Rick Flag. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Viola Davis as the woman who is ordering them around. I'm blanking on it. Blanking on it. I didn't write it down.
Amanda Waller.
This is my
Amanda
mistake.
Walker.
Amanda Waller. Waller. You were close though. Definitely closer than not remembering it at all.
Also, okay, so like in that, I did watch the special, or not special, the behind the scenes featurette thing, and like, you know, what they've been like talking about a bunch has been like, don't get attached to anybody, like, you know, insinuating that a bunch of people are gonna die. This is my big theory that I came up with like 5 minutes ago. They're gonna kill Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn.
Oh, see, I had seen. I had seen some articles that argued the opposite. Like they had also like come to the conclusion that some of these characters are gonna die, and it's like here's who's definitely safe. Here's who might die. And
I'm pretty sure Margot Robbie is safe.
Yeah, I was pretty sure Margot Robbie was safe, but I've been wrong before.
Hey, but like the first movie that they had, they killed off a bunch of them without like ever actually using the characters for anything. So I feel like are they just gonna continue doing that?
Yeah, if there was a Slipknot on this team, it would definitely be probably Mungao or Sol Soria is who I'd have to say are like definitely going to be the ones who die to show like that.
Oh, Mungao. Oh, like Mongol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh.
Much more tasteful.
Oh my Lord.
But I think she's an alien, so also, I think that's better, but
maybe. Also, so next question, which of the cast do you think is secretly Batman?
Interesting. Maybe TDK as Nathan Fillion as Batman?
Okay.
Because I can see like the way that I think that that James Gunn interprets Batman is as kind of a not quite like quite like a Batman Forever campy type, but like somewhere between Batman Forever and Batman Begins as a spectrum. I think James Gunn's Batman falls closer to Batman Forever.
Okay.
And I think Nathan Fillion is the person that he would cast as Secret Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Is TDK...
So am I supposed to... I just thought that...
Is TDK a totally new character?
I don't know anything about TDK.
Because I'm not...
I was hoping one of you guys did.
Because I am not seeing any comic art with him in it. Like, no comics.
I have no idea who TDK is. And that almost never happens. When I have no clue, I've done nothing on TDK.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I really thought that it was like an acronym for like, you know, basically like to be
also,
determined.
TDK spells out The Dark Knight.
To be known.
Yeah,
TDK spells out. Right. Yep. It's
yeah.
Oh.
Wow,
that's good.
I don't know. I feel like we just like figured that out. I'm gonna like look through some of the news articles about it and see if like IGN already figured it out, but like I don't know.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense. I saw this article that's like, here's TDK. There's a comic with supposedly the character who's named TDK, but the sentence above it is, "It's time to meet and greet the members of Task Force X." Is that the Suicide Squad? Or is that Deadpool?
Deadpool is Weapon
Suicide
X.
Squad.
Oh, gotcha.
Task Force X is Suicide Squad.
Gotcha.
Actually, wait, no. With Deadpool was like the program he was the Weapon Plus program, wasn't he? Which was inspired by the Weapon X program. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Something like that.
The Weapon X program
also,
Oh, X-Force. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. There's a lot of things in the Marvel universe with X in it, so yeah, you could literally have confused it with any of those.
Okay.
But also, so yeah, IGN thinks it's going to be what did they call it? Arms Fall Off Boy.
Which tracks with this comic that I'm looking at right now, where his arm is, he took off his arm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be hard for Batman to pull off.
I guess that could be. I mean, this is the first time I've heard either of those theories that, like, A, there is a secret Batman on the team, or, like, there is, like, a hero who is somebody else on the team. Like, this is the first I'm hearing of that. So,
Gotcha.
I haven't really theorized. But yeah, like, it's weird because, like, James Gunn's Suicide Squad did not release, like, a trailer as such. They released this featurette that had all the new cast and also a kind of behind the scenes trailer about the movie.
Oh, okay.
And, like, introduced us to Peacekeeper. Like, it had a weird focus on Peacekeeper, I thought. Peacekeeper played by John Cena.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like,
I mean,
I'm not upset by that.
I mean, like, there is, I guess, now a proud tradition of wrestlers portraying superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I think John Cena in the WWE was a better worker than Batista ever was. So there's that. But, you know, it's just a weird lot of names. I don't think that, honestly, the Thinker is probably going to get killed pretty quick with Peter Capaldi. Idris Elba and John Cena seem to be portraying pretty similar roles, but that might just be like a weird meta joke that James Gunn kind of milks. Kind of like X-Force in Deadpool 2, where like we got like a bunch of cool introductions and then they all died immediately.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, it was interesting to me that they like put John Cena's character like as like, you know, kind of a dark Captain America kind of like image, but also like how much I see Chris Pine's character in Wonder Woman as Captain America.
I mean,
like,
okay,
gotcha.
Too many.
I think technically the Peacemaker is closer to a U.S. agent than a Captain America.
Right.
But like that might be too much of a pull. But also U.S. agent might be in the Falcon Winter Soldier series, so maybe it isn't a pull.
Yeah, it's not a poll. Not. Yeah, don't remind me that Don't remind me that series hasn't come out and I'm still paying for Disney Plus.
Yes, this is by far the movie I know the least about and could be the most things. Like when it
Like
comes
the
to,
greatest.
it could be great, it could be bad, it could
Oh,
be
gotcha.
it could be serious, it could be not. They described it in the featurette as a dark 1970s war movie with James Gunn comedy. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
It seems like they're gonna. It's the kind of movie where they're gonna shoot every scene twice and then like intersperse the scenes depending on how test audiences feel.
That to me sounds like I'm gonna like it better than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Did you say?
It sounds with that description, it sounds like I'm going to like it better than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. There's something about like the first time Guardians came through and said, well, it sounded like you said like David Carradines of the Galaxy. I was kind of confused.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It could be anything to any number of people, and that's kind of where I stopped watching it live. So. Yeah, there were still like 2, 4, 6, 7, like 9 more announcements that I have written down.
Mm-hmm. What they announced?
So one was what was like advertised as the surprise panel before Fandom launched, was a panel all about Milestone Comics, which is probably most known for Static Shock.
They talked about Icon and what's her name? The Force Field woman.
Icon and Rocket.
Yeah.
But I would like that's just what I'm saying. It's like I know them most by Static Shock.
Gotcha. Okay.
They obviously did do other things.
Mm-hmm.
So they talked a lot about like how they formed Milestone Comics and like what they kind of considered their impact to be. And so this led to the announcement that DC is going to relaunch Milestone Comics as an imprint in February 2021. Until in the intervening time, they're going to start digitally releasing some of the legacy comics in between. And this will be the first time that Milestone Comics will be available digitally.
Oh, cool.
And they also revealed that a Static Shock live-action movie is in development.
That sounds awesome.
I mean, yeah, it does sound like actually pretty cool. As far as news of live-action adaptations go, like, Static Shock is one that could probably be done pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. Although my immediate concern is corporate politics. I have no doubt that somehow they're going to put that in there.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you define corporate politics by, but it is like obviously going to be Milestone Comics was headed by a group of Black creators and was kind of founded on providing comics for minorities to engage in, because it was before Static Shock Static Shock kind of launched a renaissance of POC characters, and that was like part of what they were probably most proud of. Like they talked about the most, like the different creators were like the amount of POC characters that they were able to put out. So I'm excited for it. I want I guess I will say the relaunch and how the relaunch fares is probably a barometer for the adaptation.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Now,
I don't know.
For that movie, I don't want to see a a repeat of Luke Cage, like the Netflix show. Like I could see them go, huh?
How, like, is there a specific way or like?
Well, we know it's like, oh man, kids have to deal with like being a part of a gang, being a gang member, and then dealing with that, disrespecting their parents, saying screw mom and dad, I'm gonna join, I'm gonna start shooting up a convenience store because hey, I want some money and the gang told me so. I really don't like that. Just basically the stereotypical black people problem is what I don't want to see.